Hello there. It is me on your screen. I'm here with a TBR video because I have some ambitious plans for the month of June. I thought I would share it with you all. Maybe it'll help hold me accountable. It's a scary amount of pages that I'm looking at right now, but a lot of really awesome, exciting books that I can't wait to read. So let's talk about them. So during the month of June, I am hosting the next round of the Breath of the Wildathon. If you want to know a little bit more about it, I have a link to the announcement below. But as the title suggests, it's a readathon inspired by The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The readathon is dictating my entire month of reading, except my Discord server does have like a low-key book club. We haven't discussed what's happening in June, so I may swap something out or I may have an additional book to read. We'll see. But let's talk about the books I'm reading for the Breath of the Wildathon. First up, the reading challenge, which is Death Mountain. Read a book with orange or red on the cover. I have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I did start it and I am really enjoying it and I've just been itching to continue. So absolute perfect opportunity. This is a military fantasy that I'm sure many of you have heard about. Across the board, I've heard that this book is fantastic, but quite intense, gruesome, violent, and I'm just really intrigued to see how I respond to everything. It's been on my TBR for the longest time, and I'm so happy to be finally getting to it. The next book for Corrick Forest, to read a book with a two-word title, I have chosen Barbarian's Prize by Ruby Dixon. This is part of the Ice Planet Barbarians series. I believe it's the 5th book. So this is like a sci-fi romance where a bunch of girls are abducted by aliens and then end up crash landing on this planet where there are these hunky barbarians, and romances and smutty times ensue. I really enjoyed the first one, and I have moderately enjoyed the other 3 that I've read so far. There's been some iffy moments, like a whole kidnapping plotline, which I just couldn't entirely get behind. So I'm curious to see what I think of this one. I honestly have no idea, but I'm excited to discover. Okay, the next challenge is Woodland Stable, and for this I'm to read a book with a woodland creature on the cover, and for this I have chosen God Killer by Hannah Kaner. This is one that I have also been really looking forward to reading, in particular after one of Ali from Hardback Hoarder's reading vlogs. I think it was where she took herself on a little weekend away to a cabin in the woods and read God Killer and really loved it. And then Aspasia, one of the co-hosts of the Breath of the Wildathon for this round, also highly recommends this book. So I've just been hearing fantastic things about it. It's just one of those books that you hear a lot of praise and hear that it's a wonderful book, but none of the plot points that might have been mentioned in passing have stuck. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay to go into this with a bit of a surprise. But we have a couple of different woodland creatures. This one is not a creature that actually exists, but half of it is a rabbit. So perfect for this challenge. The next reading challenge was the Blood Moon card, and I'll insert the clip of me rolling the D10 here to figure out which reading prompt I will be getting. And I got number 1. Which was to reread an old comfort book. For this, I'll be reading Garlic and the Vampire by Bree Paulson, which is a beautiful graphic novel about a little garlic. It is the cutest thing. Such a sweet and heartwarming book. Some beautiful little friendships. The kind of main premise is that this village of vegetable people discovered that there's a vampire living in this ominous looking house off in the distance, and they agree to go and confront him. It's so sweet. There's also a sequel, Garlic and the Witch. Would highly recommend these. Absolutely beautiful. The next challenge is Divine Beast Var Meadow. Air buzzword. So for this I need to read a book that has air or any related word in the title, and miraculously I had a book with the word air in the title. Castle in the Air by Diana Wynne Jones. This is the sequel to Hal's Moving Castle. Whilst Hal and Sophie are still in this world, they aren't the main characters. We follow a character named Abdullah who is a carpet merchant and has dreams about being a prince. But then his dreams start coming true when he meets the lovely Flower in the night. But then a djinn captures Flower and carries them off into the sky, and Abdullah is determined to rescue her. I'm excited. very excited to dive back into this world. So those are the 5 like required challenges. There are a couple of bonus optional challenges. So these aren't going to be quite as high up on the priority list as the rest of them so far. But if I have the chance, I would love to get to these ones because that means I acquire another perk for the readathon. But the first bonus challenge is Hebrew Summit, to read the highest rated book on my TBR. I'm not organized enough to have my entire catalogue of books on Goodreads right now. So instead what I did was I found one of the like highest rated on Goodreads lists within Goodreads itself and just kind of scrolled down. It wasn't entirely in order, but I scrolled down until I found a couple of books that were on my TBR and then ultimately chose the one that was the highest rated. A close second was Crooked Kingdom, but I wasn't too mad about opting not to read that one because I feel like I need to read Six of Crows before I get round to reading Crooked Kingdom because it's been so long since I've read Six of Crows. All that to say, the book that was the highest rated with, I think it was 4.65 average rating, is also a chunky book. Almost 600. 600! It's The Will of the Many by James Islington. I'm so excited to read this one. I've heard nothing but praise and I've had like people DM me to personally recommend it, being like, I just read this book, you need to read it. I'm like, okay, I understand, I get it, yes. It was also sent to me by the publisher with like a beautiful foiled bookmark. So like this whole process has been easy. I didn't need to seek out this book. It was sent to me and people came to me to recommend it. I know I will enjoy it. It's just maybe a little long for the realm of possibility of me reading it. I don't know. It's also satisfyingly floppy. This is the first in a fantasy series, and from my understanding, the magic system, is it the magic system? I haven't read it yet. I don't know all the details. If I get any of it wrong, I apologize. But people have this thing called will, which you can give up to other people. For what? I don't know. What are you exchanging? Oh yes, here we are. Once I graduate, I will gladly join the rest of civilized society in allowing my strength, my drive, and my focus, what they call will, to be leached away and added to the power of those above me, as millions already do, as all must eventually do. So Viz goes to a school, possibly like dark academia fantasy vibes. I really don't know. But it sounds like he's going there under certain pretenses, but is really there to find out some truths and solve a murder. So many elements sound great, and I'm very excited to read that one. And then the final reading challenge is Lome Labyrinth. Read a book while in a new reading spot. Why is there food? So for this, I have Spy Family by Tatsuya Endo. I binged season 1 of the anime and also saw the movie recently and have just absolutely fallen in love with Spy Family. And while I was in Japan and specifically in Books Kinokuniya, I decided to pick up a book. Lo and behold. Obviously, as a manga, this will be a relatively quick and easy read, so I thought this would be a fun one to do for this challenge, to read a book in a new reading spot. Technically for this challenge, I think I could read it just in a different spot in the house, but I'm pretty sure I've read in most reasonable places in this house so far. But I would like to actually go somewhere new and have like a reading picnic in a park or something, or maybe I'll go to a new cafe, take myself out on a little like lunch date and read a book. So Spy Family. Master Spy Twilight is given a new mission which requires him to have a wife and a child. He basically needs to enroll this child in a particular school in order to get close to the target, and so he adopts an orphan who can read minds and manages to like stumble across a woman, and the two of them come to like an agreement. They decide to marry. This is a situation that benefits both of them, but it turns out that she is an assassin. And you can imagine the chaos that kind of ensues, especially with a child who is a telepath. So many exciting books that I cannot wait to read. If you've read any of these, I would love to hear your thoughts on them. Any that you think I should start with first. I just realized Castle in the Air is upside down. Oh, and this was also back to front. Any that you'd suggest I pick up first, please do let me know. But thank you all so much for watching. I will see you soon. Bye!